Congratulations, by the end of this video, you'll be 1% better in life. Now, listen carefully, read carefully. What if the secret to surviving life's darkest moments isn't strength, wealth, or luck, but meaning? Viktor Frankl survived the Holocaust, stripped of everything, yet he found a reason to live. This isn't just his story, it's the key to unlocking your purpose. Stop scrolling. This video will change how you see life. Let's step back to 1942, Vienna, Austria. Viktor Frankl, a brilliant psychiatrist, is living a life of purpose. He's married to his soulmate, Tilly. He's helping patients find hope through his groundbreaking therapy. But then everything changes. The Nazis invade. Frankl, a Jew, is ripped from his home. His family, his work, his freedom, gone. He's sent to the unimaginable horrors of concentration camps, including Auschwitz, starvation, brutality, death all around. Most would break, but Frankl, he observes, he reflects, and he discovers something profound. Even in the worst of human suffering, Frankl sees a spark of hope. He realizes that while the Nazis could take his body, his possessions, even his loved ones, they could never take his ability to choose his response. This realization becomes the foundation of his life's work and the heart of his book, Man's Search for Meaning. Picture this. You're in a concentration camp, you're freezing, your stomach gnaws with hunger, and every day could be your last. Frankl lived this nightmare for 3 years. He saw friends die, he lost his wife, his parents, his brother. Yet, amidst this hell, he found moments of meaning. Frankl noticed something remarkable. Those who survived weren't always the strongest or healthiest. They were the ones who had a reason to live, a child waiting at home, a dream to fulfill, a belief in something bigger. Frankl himself clung to the hope of reuniting with his wife and finishing his work. That hope kept him alive. He began to see suffering as a challenge, not to avoid, but to confront. He wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." This idea became his lifeline, and it's one we can all use today. After the war, Frankl turned his observations into a revolutionary approach called Logotherapy, from the Greek word logos, meaning purpose. Unlike Freud, who said we're driven by pleasure, or Adler, who focused on power, Frankl argued that the deepest human need is to find meaning. Logotherapy isn't about chasing happiness, it's about discovering what gives your life purpose, even when things fall apart. Frankl believed meaning can be found in 3 ways: through creating something like art or work, through experiencing something like love or beauty, and through the attitude you take towards suffering. Here's the kicker. Meaning isn't something you stumble upon, it's something you choose. Frankl wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." To understand Frankl's ideas, let's look at the stories he shares. One prisoner, a young woman, was dying. She had no hope of survival. Yet she told Frankl she was grateful. Why? Because from her window she could see a single tree branch. That branch, swaying in the wind, gave her a sense of connection to life. Another man, a fellow prisoner, found meaning by imagining his future. Every night he pictured himself lecturing about the camps, turning his pain into a lesson for the world. That vision gave him strength to endure. These stories show us that meaning isn't always grand. It can be as simple as a moment of beauty, a memory, or a small act of kindness. Frankl saw prisoners share their last scraps of food, not because they expected to survive, but because it gave their lives dignity. Okay, so how do we use Frankl's ideas in 2025? Life today isn't a concentration camp, but we all face our own struggles: stress, loss, anxiety, or just feeling stuck. Frankl's wisdom can guide us through. Here are 5 practical ways to find meaning inspired by man's search for meaning. Number 1, discover your why. Ask yourself, what's the one thing that makes life worth living? Maybe it's your family, a passion project, or a cause you believe in. Frankl survived by holding on to his purpose. What's yours? Number 2, choose your attitude. You can't always control what happens, but you can control how you respond. Lost your job? Grieve, but then decide to see it as a chance to grow. Frankl chose hope in Auschwitz. You can choose courage today. Number 3. Create something meaningful. Write a story, build a business, plant a garden. Frankl believed creating gives life purpose. What can you make that matters to you? Number 4. Seek beauty and connection. Notice the small moments. A sunset, a kind word, a song that moves you. Frankl found meaning in a tree branch. What's your branch right now? Number 5. Help others. Frankl saw that acts of kindness even in the camps gave people purpose. Volunteer, mentor, or just listen to a friend. When you lift others, you lift yourself. Now let's talk about suffering. Frankl didn't sugarcoat it. Suffering is real and it's universal, but he believed it could be a path to meaning. When you face pain, whether it's heartbreak, failure, or grief, you have a choice. You can let it crush you or you can use it to grow. Frankl tells of a patient, a grieving father who lost his son. The man was consumed by sorrow, unable to move forward. Frankl asked him, "What would have happened if you had died first and your son had to live without you?" The father realized his son would have suffered terribly. By living, the father was sparing his son that pain. Suddenly, his suffering had a purpose, to carry on for his son's sake. This is logotherapy in action. It's not about denying pain, but reframing it. Frankl wrote, "Suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning." Think about your own life. What pain are you carrying? How could it become a source of strength? Frankl's book isn't just about the camps, it's about all of us. In the second half of Man's Search for Meaning, he explains logotherapy in detail, showing how it applies to everyday life. He worked with patients who felt empty, lost, or trapped in what he called an existential vacuum. Sound familiar? In 2025, with social media, endless distractions, and pressure to have it all, many of us feel that void. Frankl's answer? Stop chasing happiness. Happiness isn't a goal, it's a byproduct of living meaningfully. One of Frankl's most powerful tools is the question, why not give up? He asked this of suicidal patients, forcing them to confront their reasons for living. Try it yourself. If everything feels pointless, ask, what's one reason I can't give up? Maybe it's a person, a dream, or even a promise to yourself. That reason is your anchor. Frankl also emphasized responsibility. Finding meaning isn't just about you, it's about what the world needs from you. He quoted Nietzsche, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Your why might be teaching a child, fighting for justice, or creating something beautiful. Whatever it is, it's bigger than you. Let's bring this home with a final story from the camps. Frankl describes a moment when he was marching in a work detail, exhausted and hopeless. He began to imagine his wife, Tilly. He pictured her face, her smile, her voice. In that moment, he felt her love so vividly that it transcended the camp's horrors. He wrote, "Love is the ultimate and the highest goal to which man can aspire." That vision of love gave him strength to keep going. Even though he later learned Tilly had died, that moment of meaning sustained him. What's your version of that moment? Who or what do you love so deeply that it pulls you through the darkness? Hold on to that. It's your reason to keep going. Man's Search for Meaning is a short book, less than 200 pages, but it's packed with wisdom. It's not a heavy read, but it's one that stays with you. Frankl doesn't preach or lecture. He shares his story, his observations, and his hope. He shows us that no matter how broken life seems, there's always a way forward. So, what's the big takeaway? Life will test you. It will hurt. But you are never powerless. You have the freedom to choose your response, to find meaning in the smallest moments, to create purpose where none seems to exist. Frankl survived the unthinkable by holding on to this truth. You can survive your struggles too. Ready to discover your meaning? Grab Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl today. It's a book that'll challenge you, inspire you, and maybe even change your life. If this video moved you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs it. Thank you so much for watching.